Reload. Ready?
Yeah.
You look ready.
What is going on, comic fans? I'm ready. It is technically, I guess this is the Christmas show, the last stream we have before Christmas gets here. Next week will be the big At Year's End special edition episode. We'll be going through the best of and worst of the year, as well as doing the drawing for the double month Legionnaire giveaway. So if you're a channel member in the Legion tier, your name is on the wheel for the greatest comic story ever told giveaway. And I guess if I remember, I'll show off those books again before this stream is over for tonight, just to remind everybody what's in there. I did do the video with the Kingdom Come stuff on the thumbnail where you can see some of the stuff we've talked about. But there's a lot of stuff in there, from exclusive movies to exclusive books to CGC 9.8 to absolute hardback editions, all celebrating the greatest comic story ever told, Kingdom Come. But tonight we're going to be talking about one of the most greatest movie franchises ever made. No matter how you may feel about it, it still stands as it has to be the single greatest movie franchise ever made. And we'll get into that. We can have that debate. But tonight we're talking Avatar Fire and Ash, the long-awaited third installment in the Avatar franchise, as well as the finale to Welcome to Derry, easily one of the shows of the year. A lot of good stuff to talk. Comic news. There's a big announcement from the DCU, as well as some new books. I'm not completely caught up on all my reading because of the holiday season. So we'll see what we get to. We'll see what we want. And we'll do all of that right after this. What is going on, Paul?
How are you?
Man, I'm doing great, as you know.
Exactly. You are.
Yeah, I've got the coffee over here. I got this for the runny nose, and I'm fully prepared. Fully prepared for the show. I'm excited to be able to talk Avatar, man.
It's been a long road, hasn't it?
It has. It hasn't been as long between 2 and 3. And it was originally scheduled to come out last winter. Mm-hmm. The wait was a lot easier this time around. I think because it was always just right there around the corner. We've had a lot of good movies to keep us tidied over. It really has been.
It was a good year.
Well,
for the most part.
Before we get rocking and rolling, why don't you announce what you got going on the channel? Because there's a different schedule between now and the next time with our normal scheduled stuff over there on your channel.
Yeah, so we got we obviously have DC Comics Deep Dive will happen Monday mornings at 10 o'clock with Mark and I. But because our last Guess That Key occurred this past Wednesday, 2 weeks is New Year's Eve. We don't really want to do New Year's Eve. We're saying that, but we're really saying actually that that'll be the finale of Stranger Things will be happening. So we will not be having one on New Year's Eve. So it will be 2 weeks from that. So it'll be the 14th of January. Just to make sure we're staying on the same cadence, because I also don't want to go to a different Wednesday, because there may be people who do things, I don't want to cross schedule things against people who do things opposite maybe what I do or whatever. So just to be fair, so it'll be on the 14th. We will have Brother John and Dale of Suspense in what I call a Blue Wrench episode.
Blue Wrench episode. That's a good one.
Yeah.
AR said he just got out of Avatar 3. Incredible. Yeah, couldn't agree more. I'm trying to agree more, but I can't, because that's how much I already agree. But yeah. Let's see who else in here. We got Las Crucias in here. What's going on? Pop, how's it going? Coco. Then this is a reminder, John. I got the package from you. It's right here. I'm going to try to open it as soon as possible, man. As soon as possible. It'll be having a few things to open has been clutch between now and through New Year's. It's just like unboxing videos. If you watch the channel, I tend to try to just do those in like YouTube shorts at this point, but just recording some, making them for members for now. And if I don't make anything else between now and my regular scheduled time, I'll just release the unboxing videos. Otherwise, they're for the channel members. And yeah.
With all the mail you got there, it could be like a Christmas, like a Christmas orgy.
That's kind of how it was, Paul, when I opened the one that had this in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming. It's been 4 months, and that's considered a new package for me. 4 months.
That's right.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I open open early, I guess, because I like to do the shorts, but some things just stay sealed. Like in terms of Kingdom Come, I've got the original promo poster signed by Alex Ross and Mark Wade with the certificate of authenticity and all that. It's still boxed up. I've had that for a few years now. So it's a lot of stuff. The complete timeless variant sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought Toxic Avenger was the greatest franchise ever.
Close second.
Close second, yeah. Yeah. AR, if you want to hop on and chat, man, just shoot me a DM. I'll throw you a link for sure. What's good, brothers and sisters? What is going on, John? He'll be on with us next Sunday for At Year's End. It'll be you, me, and John. As far as I know, you, me, and John. Unless something happens with one of the three of our schedules between now and then. It's the last show of the year. We had John on last year for it, too. Mm-hmm. And as anyone knows, John is my surrogate. And I absolutely love this guy to death. He's a phenomenal friend. And whenever I can't make it, he always steps up and he keeps Paul company in my stead. And it's been said, and I think it's completely true. It really greatly improves the show. Getting a break from me from time to time. I'm sure Mark will open it by 2030. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So where do you want to start? You want to start with Avatar? You want to start with Welcome to Derry? What do you want to do?
Avatar, because there's so many things to talk about Avatar. Not just even just the movie, but we got a trailer in front of it. We've got all these things.
You want to know a fun fact?
What's that?
None of the promised stuff to play in front of Avatar played in front of our showing. It was almost, yeah, it felt like we had an advance. You know, they do the advanced press showings and they don't have any junkets in front of it.
Yeah.
That's how ours was. Except for a Mandalorian trailer. And even the IMAX, you know, the IMAX intro that you get with the countdown, even that was Star Wars themed for Mandalorian.
Yeah, ours was too.
Boo, yeah. I'm like, you're ruining it.
Yeah. But we got the Avengers trailer.
Yeah, but now to be fair, I've watched them both at this point. I watched the Avengers one a week ago when it air quotes here leaked. Yeah. I think that they wanted to leak it ahead of time because they didn't want to face the backlash of people going to see Avatar just for that and getting what they got.
Right.
So let's start with this. So it was announced ahead of time that in front of Avatar was supposed to be 4 major promotional things, including the first of, what are they doing, 4 or 6?
At least 4.
Avengers Doomsday trailers. Now they called them trailers. I can't remember if they called them teasers. I don't think that's fair. They should just call them promos, which is fine. I mean, it's a double-edged sword here. You have most people with sense that don't want the movie ruined for them. You don't want to see these long, drawn-out trailers that take the plot and just give it all to you ahead of time. But I think a lot of people went expecting to get character review. I don't know what they expected. I have no clue. But it was it released online ahead of time. It just shows Steve Rogers in a house holding a baby, like where we last left him. That's all it shows. No big deal. Steve Rogers is back. Cool. Personally, it didn't do nothing for me. I assume he's just back long enough to like get taken out. We got to take out some notable characters to make Doom feel like a bad guy since there's no lead up or build up to this film. Mm-hmm. But what'd you think of it?
I've always liked Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, but to me, it just kind of shows that Marvel still had no idea what to do after Endgame. Because
I loved him as Captain America.
You know, everything that they've done, they're basically by bringing Steve Rogers back. Again, that's like another slap in the face to Anthony Mackie, basically saying, you know what, I know he was
Captain America, but
right. You know, everything that we tried so far hasn't worked, so let's go back to where we were. And it started with Robert Downey Jr. and now it's Chris Evans as well. So it's like they're just going backwards. You know what? Maybe they'll prove me wrong, and I'll just absolutely love it. But I just feel like, you know, it didn't really do anything for me because, to your point, it didn't have anything to do with the movie as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it'll show up in the movie at all. Probably, maybe very briefly. But
yeah, it could have been filmed just for the promo spot.
Yeah, exactly. It was like 1 minute, and it basically just said Steve Rogers will return. Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah, and to that point, like them going back, like that's what a lot of people, well, at least that's what I said the minute Robert Downey Jr. walked on that stage at San Diego Comic-Con. This reeks of desperation. Like that's all this feels like. It's not excitement for me. It's just that franchise is just flopping around with no direction, and this is just another example of it. Whether I'm sure the movie will be entertaining. There's no way you take that many characters and stuff. I mean, there'll be fun little snippets of stuff to see that I'm sure would be great, like YouTube shorts after the fact. But as far as like a compelling, like as far as Infinity War or Winter Soldier, it's not going to be that. It just isn't. It's just going to be just, I can't believe they put so many people in here. Kind of like Deadpool and Wolverine without the heart. Because that movie had heart, because we're all sentimentally attached to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in a major way. We've had 2 decades with him. Like, there's all the character buildup you can imagine that you can just grab him and use him. We don't have that for the post-in-game characters of the MCU. So it'll be interesting, but they took it a step farther by going and digging up the 20th Century Fox characters again after a legitimate, proper, coordinated send-off for those characters. It succeeded so well, they said, well, let's just do that again. So I don't know. Joe says, yeah, it was same at the special screening for Fire and Ash I was at 2 weeks ago. No trailers or teasers for other movies, including Doomsday trailer. Yeah. Well, the big one, the other one I think was Spider-Man. Wasn't there supposed to be a teaser trailer for Spider-Man's new movie?
It wasn't on the one that I saw.
I didn't see anyone talking about it either. So I'm trying to think what the third one is, because obviously the big one is the big one. I think for any and everybody, everyone's kind of on the same page with Christopher Nolan's next outing. I think everyone's already talking about it. Yeah, the marketing for it is genius.
Yeah, it was a long trailer for the Odyssey. It basically showed everything from, everyone inside the horse, how the horse got brought into the city.
Oh, taking the blade to the shoulder.
Yeah, it was at least a 2.5 minute trailer for the Odyssey that they showed.
His wife saying, "Come back to me. I don't know if I can."
Yeah,
like just the camera work in that was incredible. Like when he bowed down in front of that soldier and the camera just locks onto the soldier. I don't even know what to say about it other than like it was just showing you that this is about to be something unique, something epic, something gorgeous. Matt Damon said it's been the most incredible experience he's ever had on a set in his entire life, bar none. That Christopher Nolan is not shying away from anything, from the sirens to the Cyclops to anything. And they were even talking about the Trojan horse, and he was asking Nolan, like, dude, how are we going to shoot this? And Nolan said, I don't know. Let's just go get in there and figure it out. Over 2 million feet of film was used in the filming of that movie. I read that the 5 teasers, once combined, would serve as a new post-credit scene for Endgame that's going to be back in theaters for a limited showing. That could be so, yeah. Because that did feel like a little post-credit Endgame stuff there. Instead of him and Peggy dancing, just him in the house with the child.
Could be.
Yeah. I just don't care. Like I'll see it like I see everything out of curiosity for the sake of discussion, but I legitimately don't care. I'm still of the camp that the entire MCU needs to be reboot. The entire MCU needs to be recast and just do it again. Do it again for the next generation. I might not even like it if you do it again. It might just be awful. We'll clearly compare it to the first time around and everything that came before. And I don't think you can recreate what they did.
Right.
I don't think it's possible.
Right. Because one of the reasons why it was so successful is because it was so novel. It had really never been done before. Having all of these heroes together in one movie.
They really, man, it's one of those like too much of a good thing kind of thing, And it just went downhill. But it didn't take long. Wasn't a ton of trailers, especially in the theater I was in, but we got right to Avatar. I got to tell you, I did IMAX 3D. Same for you. So both of us saw it in its proper intended format, which I would recommend to any and everybody. I will tell you, Lynx, who's typically on here with us to talk movies. He's feeling a little under the weather, but he did get out and see it yesterday, and he didn't even get to see it in the IMAX format. And he still messaged me and said, "Yo, that was good. That was incredible." He even liked it. So I'm excited to get to talk to him more about it.
And you're absolutely correct that this really needs to be seen in IMAX 3D because there were little tiny things that, things just like when they're where the volcano is, you see like ashes that float in front of you, and it really seems as though they're between you and the character on the screen.
Yeah.
Every single scene that's in the jungle, and there's a bunch of them that are in basically a jungle, looks even better because you have leaves in front of, behind them that kind of seem as though they're between you and whoever the main character is is
The
going.
3D effects for this movie is really unparalleled.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of films that do 3D pretty decent. A lot of it is formatted for 3D after the fact using like some generic film technology they have. That's not what James Cameron does.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this cool behind the scene thing where he had his actors sitting on a bench and he was kind of showing people in the studio how he's filming it, but he had them in their mocap sitting on a bench and he's holding a handheld monitor where he's telling him what to do, where to look. And on his monitor, he can look at it. It's like one of those when you put VR goggles on and you're in that world, no matter which way you look, you know, that's how the thing in his hand was. He was looking at Pandora where they were on Pandora while he's going around moving it. And I'm like, that's crazy. It's incredible the film technology that they have these days. But we kick off the movie in true Avatar style. It was just fantastical. You have Loak, the little brother who survived the second film, flying his Ikran around the Hallelujah Mountain. So you start with a great exposition, an example of the visual ride you are about to be in for. The score is amazing in all of these. It matches the film perfectly. It puts you directly in the mood that it's intended to. It just feels large. It feels way larger than life, and you're up there with him. And he's flying around with his brother Mateum that actually passed away at the end of number 2. So you immediately know that we're either in a flashback or we're plugged in to the spirit tree, and he's visiting him in the in Awa kind of thing. And that's what they did. They fly around for a while and kind of get you into the groove, and you know. And then he has a conversation where he asks his brother, he's like, "How did I die?" And his brother blames himself. He's like, "I went back to do something and you had to come save us. And I should have never been there." And as cool as his brother's like, "Dude, don't beat yourself up. That's you. It's fine. That's fine." So it's kind of like letting us know that a big theme of this movie is going to be Loak kind of still blaming himself for his brother's death. This movie takes place very shortly after the last one. The last one ended with them knowing that the RDA is coming back. And it ended with Jake saying, "Fine, this is where we make our stand. This is where we fight." So we know it's all leading back to a fight there again. But those are the themes we're about to be looking at with the Solis. What'd you think about having Loak as our narrator for the first time? It wasn't Jake Sully narrating, taking us through Pandora. It was his kid, born there, being raised there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different take, but I really liked it. You know, I'm having it. It was, to me, it was much more personal about, you know, him, and you know, he becomes extremely important to the entire their ability to fight back against them later on. And I can't remember the name of the big whale-like things.
Token.
Yeah, you know, when
Yeah,
he
his
basically,
specifically is Pycon. He's
yeah,
outcast.
yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah. Everybody outcast.
You're like, yo, if he's gone, we're gone, and y'all got
Yeah.
no one.
Yeah, but he
Let him
was,
speak.
you know, he was very important for getting the council of them to basically, you know, because obviously they're peace-loving animals, but to get them to fight back against Quaritch and his people.
Yeah, what do you think about? I know they were in the last movie, but it really leans into it and showcases a lot more how like advanced other species are on Pandora. Not the Na'vi aren't the only species on the planet with language, with art, with music. They can communicate, they can talk. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of a hard adjustment for me at first when I saw it in number 2. And then kind of where you kind of like kind of get used to it. And the same with this one. They first are like communicating with them, like hand signals with them, like
Yeah.
Like I know whales are smart, but it's so hard to make that leap that these creatures on this planet are way smarter than the ones we have on our planet.
Yeah, because only that one person, the head of the tribe or whatever, the head of the Na'vi, can actually speak with them, actually understand them. Right?
Tanawari. Well, they all speak to their, because it's their spirit brothers and spirit sisters. Every member of the Metcaine clan, it's part of like their rite of passage growing up, where they all meet at the spirit tree, like all the Metcaine do with all the babies that were born in the last year. All the Tolkien come in with their calves and all the bulls, and they meet there and they all plug into the tree, and they kind of have like a communion with Awa, and they kind of make a personal bond between the two. So they all can talk to each other, but the only person allowed to talk at the council of the matriarchs and the council of the patriarchs, whatever it was called, is Tanawari, the leader of the Metcaine clan. And when they came in, just these kids, these outcasts that are rabble rousers, for lack of a better term. But that was something that I thought was cool, because even after Pycon saved everyone in the big battle, the last one, the Tolkien clan is consistent in their beliefs, just like all the Na'vi people are. Like, look, man, like he got people killed. Like, cool that he saved y'all, but we still believe that violence is only going to bring more violence. You're still outcast, bro. But yeah, he was wildly important. One thing that they set up really early on is this setting at the Metcaine clan's little island, their house, the place where the majority of Way of Water takes place. The Sully's home since the second one. There's a spirit tree there. Every clan lives near a spirit tree, and it's underwater. And in this one, they made sure to focus on and spotlight the energy field that's going up in the air. This beautiful, like, pillar of light that comes up from it, which I had to go back, Paul. I didn't remember seeing that in Way of Water. And it felt like as soon as I saw it in the beginning of this one, I'm like, this is clearly something wildly important, or they wouldn't be spotlighting it like this. So I went back to Way of Water. It's there.
Okay.
And I think they intentionally, like, they always, like, when you see it in different scenes, it's always like you're on the beach and you're looking down the beach from like the ground level, you know. So your view is like covered by trees and stuff, but you'll see it behind the trees and kind of going up over them in the background. Okay. So they show it in little places like that. So continuity wise, it's right there, but they made sure, I guess, he was super smart not to spotlight it in number 2, I guess, because they wanted to have the next scene setting be something new and fantastical. And since it's taking place in the same island again, like, how do you do that? So I thought that was pretty smart.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's basically like a what do you call those things?
The Aurora Borealis?
Like a whirlpool, basically in reverse. Instead of going down, it basically goes up.
Yeah, and it looks like an Aurora Borealis of colors. Just. But yeah, apparently, like, in that creates the similar magnetic effects that you see in the jungle with the Hallelujah Mountains. That's how the rocks and stuff that have that magnetic pull float and everything over in their region of stuff. Ruby G, what is going on? Burt Family 54, what is going on? But it was super cool. So we get down to it. We get down to it, and they decide early on that, hey, this kid Spider that lives with us, we all love him, except for Natiri. She absolutely hates him. She blames all sky people for the death of her son. She's mourning. She's still in the mourning phase, the traditional Na'vi mourning phase in this. And Zoe Saldana, that woman can act. I don't care what color you paint her, what kind of motion capture you do. Like, she is such a convincing, phenomenal actress. It is wild. But the mourning phase thing she was going through was rough, and it was putting division in the house with them and Spider, who she's the only one that really dislikes him. We saw what she did to him in the end of the last movie. She was about to kill him. She was willing to kill him just for Quaritch to release Kiri at the end of the last movie. She cut his chest and everything. She says, a son for a son. But so Jake sees some issues. Spider almost dies in his sleep because his mask runs out of oxygen. He pretty much like, dude, like, we love you, but this isn't the place for you. We're too far away from everything else. If something happens, you're not in the right place. So no one in the family agrees with him. He knows Natiri doesn't want him there, and he doesn't feel Spider safe with Natiri. And he knows, like, Spider's not safe in general. Right. So they decide when the wind traders come in that they'll hitch a ride with them back to the RDA base where the other scientists are. You know, they have their home base hiding in the Hallelujah Mountains. You got the facilities there for humans to interact and live with. I'm still not sure. I guess because the avatars have to be built specifically with the user in mind. Spider can't get in a bed and link with an avatar and just have a Na'vi body while he's there. But they want to send him back there, and they come to the conclusion that we'll all travel together. We'll all go as a group. But the wind traders coming in was something incredible to see. It's something else completely new to the franchise. What did you think of these monstrously large, unique creatures that kind of can't make head tails of?
Well, those one look like giant jellyfish, kind of floating through the air.
Well, it's like giant manta rays pulling around giant jellyfish through the air.
Yeah. It was incredible. It was I think we said, you know, we've done air, we've done water, we've done fire. You know, we're going through the elements with James Cameron. So you know, I guess Earth is the only thing that's left, really.
I think that would be the first one, right? It was all jungle.
Probably. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, it was, I mean, again, it was just like, you know, the way that he portrays it, and the effects that they have, it really is, you got to see this on the biggest screen you possibly can to really kind of behold it.
Yeah, it was cool seeing like the how nomadic they looked, and they made a couple of comments about not wanting Jake's whole family to ride because they wanted to keep Spider hidden. That as like this trader people, they say neutral between all conflicts between the tribes, and it kind of sets the tone. Like the direct comparison with Avatar is just like Native American stuff, and I think like modern day society has really glazed history in a big way. But Native Americans were not peaceful people. There's a noble aspect to them for sure, but they're warriors. They were major warriors that conquered and went to war against each other and battled each other. That's no different in Avatar, and that's how some of these tribes reflect. And in this movie, that's one of the major things that they did different, that your main antagonist is not a human element. They're there. They're part of this world, but the main antagonist was everybody's new crush, played by what's her name? Una Chaplin, Una Chaplin Varang. Like she's the leader of the Magwan Raiders. So the Jake managed to get a ride by telling him like, look, we'll fly around, we'll run security so the Raiders don't hit you on everything. So very similar to the Tusken Raiders in Star Wars. They just wait on travelers to come by and they hit them, they attack. And what's cool about the Wind Traders, in 1978, James Cameron did this art piece, the very first art piece he drew for Avatar. 1978. This is what he drew. He drew the Wind Traders. This is the concept that he had, and now in 2025 release, it came to life in its final form. That's how long he's been working on Avatar. You know, there's a story that I've mentioned before with Michael Bain on the set of Terminator, walked into Cameron's trailer to go talk to him about something on set, and he had a draft of Avatar in front of him working on it on the set of Terminator #1. So it's absolutely incredible. What's going on, Kevin Davis? Good to see you here. International audience will push Avatar Fire and Ash to massive hit at the box office. Yeah, it will. Every time, baby. Every time.
Did you see the comment that he made, James Cameron, today?
I've seen a bunch that he's made today, but every time Avatar, I'll talk about this. So I don't care how people here feel about it. This movie connects to the most largest general audience that's ever existed in history. That's why it's so successmal worldwide.
His comment was to those people who think that he's wasting his talent just by doing Avatar. He basically was saying, that's like saying, why do you stay married to the same person your entire life?
Yeah. Why are you still on Avatar? Why don't you use something else? Why do you stay married to the same person?
Yeah.
And then you have the one where someone's like, well, what are you working on next? And while he's at a premiere of Avatar 3, he's like, that's kind of similar to a woman in labor giving birth to a baby, and you ask her, when are you having another one, before she even delivers this one. My favorite thing that he said in an interview was when somebody asked him about 4 and 5 in the timeline of getting him out. And he told him, like, I've dedicated so much of my life to this for so long that I'm currently working on trying to crack Terminator 7. Technology's changed so much since the last time I was on it. So it's become pretty challenging, and I'm enjoying doing that right now. And he's also confirmed that Arnold will not be part of it, that whatever he comes up with for Terminator 7 when he revisits that franchise, hopefully it's his next project, will be completely new for a new generation in a new way that nobody else has thought about or predicted for that franchise yet. And that's the only way it can work, is if you just throw everything out except for his first 2 films and see what he does next. It doesn't need to be called Terminator 7. It just needs to be called Terminator tagline or something. Just call it Terminator 3. James Cameron's T3.
You can put Rebirth in it because that works so well.
Yeah, Rebirth, that's the trick. And those things were incredible, and I loved how they came in. Everyone said they looked Star Destroyer coming in, how cool they arrived. It was freaking cool. Yeah. What's going on, Ronnie Johnson? Avatar 3 in 3D was a blast. I enjoyed it more than 1 and 2. Yeah, dude, that's something to say too. Like, there's a lot of stuff saying best Avatar yet. Like, one thing that set this one apart from 1 and 2 in a major way was the pacing. This one was so much faster paced, in my opinion, than the other 2. Like, this one felt very relentless for the majority of it. It's good stuff. But while they're wind trading, flying around, we had the Mogwai Raiders showed up, and that's when we get our first look at Varang, who comes in, and she spots the Solis on board and doesn't necessarily think too much of it until she sees that they're fighting back and pretty successful because they have weapons. Now, for context for this, for those that don't know, and they mention it in this movie, but I read all the comics. I've watched these movies 1,000 times. There are certain laws that they have as Na'vi, like spiritual laws, and one of them is to not use metal because it's looked at as cursing the earth by making metal, kind of thing. kind of like their old Mosaic laws, don't mix these fabrics, right? You're not supposed to mix minerals and make stone. The minerals are how they are intended to be, kind of thing. But Varang doesn't believe in AWA, her guidelines or anything. She feels betrayed by AWA, and everything about her is kind of just her own code of ethics. And she wants these guns immediately. They take down the flyers. Epic battle. It was almost like watching the Hindenburg crash. It was insane. It was wild. But the kids barely survived, get out of there. Natiri has her first 1v1 against Varang and loses. She takes an arrow through the shoulder, almost dies. The kids are running for their lives. Spider's mask is running out of oxygen, and he doesn't have a recharge because it got burned up or it crashed with the big jellyfish thing. They're being chased around, barely getting away. And about this time, backup arrives. Not in the form that you would expect it. In my opinion, the absolute MVP of the movie, the star of the movie, my favorite topic at the tail end of 2025, the subjective villain is becoming a consistent thing here, Paul. Miles Quaritch shows up.
Yes.
He's hunting Jake. First off, what'd you think of the battle that ensued between everybody?
Anytime Miles Quaritch was on the screen, I thought he was kind of stealing the whole show.
Stephen Lang, guys, absolutely crushes it. But it was pretty cool because Jake at this point,
they're very end.
Yeah. Out. What was his last line in the movie? Out. Yeah. It was so quick. Out. But what's going on, Scott? Good to see you in here, brother. But it was cool because Jake's like walking around, checking the wreckage. The kids are way deep in the woods because they got chased in there by the ash people. Miles shows up and finds Jake, immediately draws down on him like, yeah, how's it going there, cowboy? I want hands behind your back. And this is where I knew that, like, immediately, I'm like, this is about to be amazing. Like, Miles is going to own this movie because as soon as he sees Jake, he looks down and the first thing he sees is that oxygen mask. And he knows it's Spiders. He knows his son stays with the Solis. And he looks at it, he goes, whose mask is that? He's like, that's Spider's mask, which means he missed his refill, which means he's about to die out there. And Quaritch didn't skip a beat. He said, you know how to track him? And even Quaritch's other man's like, boss, you're going to get us killed out here. And he doesn't even listen to him. He's like, go. And he like, Jake wants him to uncuff him. He's like, no, go. Like, Quaritch did not skip a beat. He wants to make sure his son's safe. And I got goosebumps right now. Like, as soon as he said that, I'm like, yes. Because at the end, in Way of Water, we saw that glimmer of life in Miles Quaritch. The character is so goal-oriented, so like just straight. I'm here as security. My goal is to keep everyone safe and kill anyone that can put them in danger. He just has no humanity in him until he finds out he has a son. And we saw glimmers of humanity. And I love that they kept that momentum going with this. Spider saved him at the end of the first one. So, surprise for me, I hated Monkey Boy going in. Then he became my favorite by the end. Dude, I felt the same way. The kids in general, there was a lot about them that it's easy to say it was kind of annoying. I'd rather have more time with the adult characters in Way of Water. This one really serviced the younger cast, kind of elevating them and getting us to know them more, to care about them more, for them to actually achieve things that kind of, give them some credibility. But Monkey Boy, man, that kid did show out. But this is the first time that we actually see the Mogwai in their natural habitat. The kids got away. They're out there kind of reaping the spoils of their catch. What did you think about that savage scene of them bonfiring and scalping?
Oh man, it was yeah, it was pretty intense. He didn't skimp on showing, what he needed to show exactly how I don't say cruel, because it's kind of, that's the way their culture lives. That's the way they are. So yeah, you can say maybe, by, it's that whole thing of, nurture versus nature type thing. Is like, is that, that the way that they've been able to survive, by having to do that to people, or is that just them, being extra cruel?
Yeah, I think that the Mogwai clan was being cruel because what they were doing, how they were cutting off their Sahela tails, and they pointed out, like, that's not only a kill you, but it's worse than death. It's the most sacred thing that they have on their body. It
wasn't as bad as Dr. Brenner.
Dr. Brennan. Not all heroes wear capes. But we see them, they get a hold of the kids. They're cutting off people's tails. They're killing all the survivors from the travelers. About this time, Jake and Quaritch show up and they mount a rescue and they just dive
But also, in the overall, like, if you're talking about tail, like, count, yeah, some people lose theirs, but some people get some as well.
Hey, yeah. Our main mammal pots and pans, Quaritch gets some tail.
Yeah. We have a new baby that's born who has a new one. Spider gets one.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Spider is running out of oxygen and dies, and Kiri kind of locks in. She gets to do her little like AWA dance kind of thing, how she's like really in tune with nature, and we see the same process that transferred Jake's life over to the Avatar. That same way they tried to save Grace, and basically AWA saved Spider. He's now like he has like those little, almost like fungi, like inside him that is mycelium. Yeah. I was going to call them metachlorians.
No, mycelium, which is actually the network that Star Trek Discovery rides on through it to go through the galaxy, the mycelium network.
That's pretty cool. It's all connected. But yeah, Spider can breathe on the planet now. He's starting to grow a little tail on his head. Quaritch and Jake try to mount a rescue. They get him free. They ultimately, in the long term, get away, but not before like Varang here. She has her little turn to play with a gun and everything. And once they're free and running, Quaritch realizes this little kid can breathe out here. They're going to be even more valuable. And to fast forward, because the movie is long, ultimately the RDA finds out that the kid can breathe out there. He's now the hottest commodity on the planet. They're tasked with setting up operations so that the rest of the society, the rest of the human race, has a place to go because Earth is dying. But this isn't a hospitable planet. It can be if we can unlock whatever happened with Monkey Boy, with Spider. And that becomes a cat and mouse game. Ultimately, they get a hold of him, scans on him and stuff, and the way that Quaritch goes back to try to go hunting for Jake again is by going back to the Ash People's clan to barter with him. And dude, what a cool scene! What a cool scene when he just goes walking in there, hands up, and Vrang and everyone comes out there and they try to threaten him. He's like, "Nah, I'm not listening this time. You lay a finger on me and y'all are dead." And she goes, "I don't believe that," or something. And he just points at the dude behind her and he goes, "Drop that one." And he didn't even get the sentence finished. And the dude just, boom, head dead. He's got a sniper buddy back there. Like, oh, snap. That was crazy.
But then when he, he's like, "I'll give you guns, I'll give you all these things," and then when he shows her like the flamethrower, she's like a kid on Christmas morning.
Oh man, she loved it. Yeah. She loved it. He pretty much has one-on-one with her. He hears her story, how they got kind of disillusioned about AWA. They live by a volcano. Like a volcano erupted when she was a kid, took out their forest. Their home tree is like she lives in the ruins of it where it's fallen over and burned. All clans live near home trees and soul trees. Like they all live close to AWA. Well, that place by the volcano was decimated by a volcano. She blames AWA for not protecting them. So getting guns and everything, she can go raid whoever she wants, take whatever she wants, live however she wants, blah, blah, blah. And she has a little TP session with Quaritch where he does some tripping and introspection and see what they can really do to help each other out. They become partners, ride or die instantly. And he goes out and he flies to the Metcaine clan and threatens to destroy the whole place with a bunch of equipment and stuff. Jake turns himself in and he does it dressed like this. I don't think he was dressed like that quite yet. They go back to the RDA facility. They've officially caught Jake, and we see a bit of like stuff we haven't seen before. How many humans are here, how there's a society inside the compound and everything, how they clearly live worried about Na'vi on the outside, that I'm sure that they don't understand how they live, know the dangers of one or the other, because they felt, you can see the relief on them seeing that this fugitive that's been killing us has been captive. With this Jake Sully has been captive. But Quaritch rolls in with the Magwan clan, and Edie Falco's like, "Yo, get these savages out of here. You've lost your mind." He's like, just enjoy the win. And it gets wild from there. We get our next big action scene because they're about to execute Jake come the morning time. And his people ain't gonna stand for that. What do you think of Natiri's big rescue?
Oh, yeah, it was. I mean, that whole thing on the base. It's funny too because every time I saw Edie Falco, all I could think of is, what is the Sopranos mom doing here?
I always think of Nurse Jackie from
Yeah.
Showtime.
See, and I always think of her. I never watched Nurse Jackie, but I've seen all the Soprano ones. So I was like, what is the Sopranos mom doing here?
Yeah.
And even when she talked, I could just see her saying that to
Where's your guma?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, come on back, have some meatballs.
Yeah, it was cool. But Natiri flies in solo, and in this big human. I mean, it looks like a factory city at this point. It looks like big industrial park and these fire.
She does disguise herself though as one of the.
Yeah. She's all painted up as one of the ash people.
Yeah.
And she goes in and ultimately finds out where they are. She has her second 1v1 with Varang, kind of. Varang was sleeping with Quaritch. Quaritch gets up to go hang out with some of the other ash people, which was kind of a subtle, cool moment to see his trajectory because he wakes up after it reveals that they're banging pretty much. And he goes outside just to sit with the other ash people who were about to he's like, no, let's drink, let's hang out, fire. You can see he was really connecting with him. He's finding his way in. And Natiri puts a blade to Varang. He's like, where's Jake? I will cut your head off. Where is he? And she tells him they have a little fight, but she has to book it. And we get this crazy chase scene between the Scorpions. A couple of the Wasps were there. The Scorpions are the helicopters. The Wasps are the little planes with the double blades and the wings and stuff. And through this city, through tubing and under it was spectacular, dude.
Meanwhile, Spider has also escaped.
Yeah, this dude's running around too. Exactly. Who's deemed to be the most valuable asset on Pandora at this point. Jake gets pinned down. Spider catches up to him and steps out in front of the guns like, you can't shoot me, middle fingers kind of thing. And they ultimately get up with Natiri, and they make it out of there just to get back home in time to gear up and get prepared for the big battle. They have the conversation with the Tolkien, trying to convince them to help. Like, you don't understand what's coming. They're coming here. Y'all are all coming here for the communion with AWOL. There's going to be more y'all here than ever. Y'all have to fight or you will all die. Not just some of you. All of you will die. This is it. And
it was also, showing what was the one that had all the harpoons still in them, lost an eye.
PyCon got outcast, like we mentioned earlier. Yeah. The kids, none of the kids accepted it. Like, Loak went looking for PyCon, who's his spirit brother, and all of his little homies, his little girlfriend, the other little homies from the second one, they went looking for him. They went and found him. And not only was PyCon outcast, he found the only surviving member of his clan who's missing their eyes, has 10 harpoons in them and stuff, which was dude, that was rough. Mm-hmm. Rough. So big battle comes in. Jake finally bites the bullet. They talked about it a few times through the movie with the Turok Maktu, the guy who rides the great dragon. How Jake doesn't want to do it again. It's not simply riding an Ikrin. Like, that Ikrin is a warrior. It wants blood. It wants that fight. And he says it doesn't feel right. He's Jake is not bloodthirsty. Turok Maktu is. Like, I'm here to do work kind of thing. But it gets to the point where he goes back and he gets him. And it was happy to see him. They're bonded for life like they're supposed to be. The only thing bad about it, as soon as I saw it, I was still mad that we're 3 movies in, over 15 years in, and McFarlane still hasn't made one scale to scale. Like, make it $150. We'll buy it. I need it. I need it right there. I did get Quaritch. I bit the bullet. Remember, I bit the bullet and got that. Dude, there's people watching the hell out of that video right now. And one guy watched the video and said, dude, I almost ordered that when it came out. I said, yeah, I don't regret it at all. And then we're talking in the comment section. He went and bought it because of the video yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, but he goes and get Turok, comes back. Aikini from the Cliff people from the first movie is back in this one. All the other clans people come in. They gear up and they get ready for one of the most epic battles. It was really sad. We lost some characters along the way. Now, this sounds terrible, but luckily it was nobody out of the Soli family. That was rough in the last movie. But Tanawari's wife, played by Kate Winslet, Ronell, she died in this one. She took a shot to the chest. died of her wound, but not before giving birth to her child.
Mhm.
And Quaritch covered in ash people, man. Like this guy, undefeated, Paul.
Mhm.
Pussy is still undefeated because this guy had a couple more talks with Jake, and Jake could see it. He's like, yo, this is a whole new world, a whole new chance. There's so much out there you don't understand. You've been given new eyes. Open them. And he kind of is along the way. You know, he's still so goal oriented. Like it's his job to get Jake Sully.
Right.
And he feels betrayed by Jake Sully. He trained Jake Sully. Jake Sully was serving under him. They were supposed to have this common brotherhood. And he feels genuinely betrayed by Jake Sully, who ultimately did. Doesn't mean Jake was was wrong for doing it, but Jake did betray that code. And Quaritch is slowly seeing why that code is not applicable on this planet. By the end of it, you have Jake, Spider, and Miles Quaritch just battling it out in that setting that we mentioned earlier in that big magnetic light show. They're hopping on rocks, fighting. There's fire going up all through it and everything. And ultimately, Spider about falls to his death, and Miles dives down. Doesn't hesitate. Again, does not hesitate to save his son who just shot him in the arm with an arrow.
Right.
Dives down and grabs him and catches him. And they're hanging there about to fall. And Jake gets to the edge. And Spider looks at his dad and says, pull me up. He said, well, it'd be great if I could, if you wouldn't have shot me in the arm. Like, this is perfect. So Jake has to pull them both up. And this was such a cool moment for me watching this movie because I have my oldest Emma on my left and have my wife on my right. And both of them are screaming, kick him off, wanting Jake to kick Miles off. And I'm screaming, no. But dude, I was so sold. Like Miles Quaritch, like the character growth of him, like his arc, his journey in this movie was just amazing. Like I absolutely love the dynamic with him and Jake. I could watch those two together in a movies. Like it'd be cool if they're both agreed to let's not kill each other, but we don't like each other. That needs to be the dynamic with these two. Right. But I want to see them fight side by side finally, and I think we're due that come the next movie because at this point, Miles got a new love.
You think he survived? Or we haven't even said what how it
1,000%. So they really wrap up these movies fast at the end. So they're all sitting there on this rock, and about that time he looks up and Natiri lands, Kiri's there, Took's there, Lowok's there. The whole clan land on the rock, and Miles looks at him and goes, oh, this ain't good or something. He says, oh, this is great. And he just dips off the rock on his own, just falls out. So he's falling. You know, the fire is kind of just going up in the air. It's just water under it.
Yeah.
He's just falling into the water. And because it shows him falling and he's like going get close to the fire, he goes, ah, and it just cuts away instantly.
But if there was no danger of dying by falling off of it, why would he have gone to such lengths to try to save Spider?
Spider's not Na'vi.
Right.
Bro, these people have
but he is really Na'vi now.
But his body ain't. They don't know that and how strong his body is.
They specifically say he is one of us.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. His physiology, because they're hard to kill. They established that in the first one. Su Te got shot in the chest out of a ship and fell like a literal mile straight to the ground. And Jake still came and found him and had words with him as he died slowly. They've established like these Na'vis are like.
I don't doubt that he's still alive, but I just
and James Cameron has confirmed that he's in all 5 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the easiest way to convince you to say that he's still alive.
That's like Varang. Dude, Kiri just punked Varang out. Like at this point, like Kiri has like convened with Awa. They show Awa for the first time. The way that she's represented to Kiri just looks like a big like Mother Earth head. Looks Na'vi, just kind of looks over at her. But Kiri takes her little tail and hooks up to Varang and just like punks her out, and she goes running. It was cool to show she's still alive, and it's wild. What's up, baby?
I'm so excited.
About what? I am too. Tell Paul what you thought of Avatar 3.
Oh, amazing.
No,
Intense.
come here real quick. Come here real quick. You remember when Jake was pulling Miles and Spider up from the rock at the end?
Oh my God, I wanted to kick his face in.
See?
Oh.
She said I wanted to kick his face in. I'm over here cheering for him to live, and Kyle and Em are like, kill him! I was kind of thought that maybe we would get like a Star Trek 5 moment
with
Have you saw it? I'm assuming.
Yeah,
since
he
we're
even
talking
saw
about
it yesterday. Yeah.
with
The
Jake.
the villain lady. She reminded me a lot
Yeah.
of Enchantress with like the way that she moved.
Yeah, from Suicide Squad. I'm telling you, this is a Suicide Squad house, Paul. Like my wife's first reference is the Enchantress.
Like she's just like swishy and like and I just wanted to kick her face in too.
She was awesome. One of the best movie villains we had in a while. Cause like when everything's the issue sitting fan, she's just sitting there like dancing and hopping around with bullets and stuff. Yeah, fire.
She's huffed too much of that ash.
Yeah, she's huffed a lot of ash. But yeah, that big battle was insane. Absolute peak aura farming in this scene right here where they're walking up with all the tribes around them.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was incredible. What an experience. Rating these movies, I think that's fair.
So you have basically 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, fire all the way through. You seen these memes where like the third one will be bad and it'll just be like a stick figure drawing of a horse in the third box or something?
Mm.
They're like fire, just stick figure, black and white stick figure.
And it did $88 million for the weekend.
Oh, it did way more than that, buddy. It
That's
actually
just domestic. 250, 345 worldwide.
345 worldwide. They were expecting it to do a 100 and they projected 100 and something opening weekend, and it did 345.
Mhm.
They expected it to do a little bit less than the first one for opening weekend, just because of the market and stuff these days, and
Yeah.
the way that overseas has been kind of a little lighter on movies.
Yeah.
The American
Didn't
market
do as well as 2, but they didn't really expect it to.
Yeah. But yeah, 345 opening weekend. And this movie's got legs. Unfortunately, I was not able to see it 3 times opening weekend. I was able to see it with my wife and my oldest, but I will be going back as soon as we're past the holidays. Whose is that?
Ben's.
What's in it?
That head. That was in your closet.
You cut someone's head off?
Yeah.
What head?
The blue thing that was in your closet.
I'm so lost. Egg or head?
Like egg, but with a face.
Who's that from?
Us.
Okay.
You remember that?
What's in it?
That it's the Poppy Playtime thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Very cool. Might adopt that hiss scowl they make when angry. Dude, I love how they call each other scown. Scown. Jake was ready to kill Spider himself, but his wife finally snapped out of it and stopped. She didn't stop him. He stopped himself, bro.
Yeah.
But dude, that scene, I thought he did it. I thought like, because dude, in all reality, that's what's so cool about these movies. Like, you really don't know who's safe and who's not safe. Like, they do a great job with the marketing on these. For Avatar: Way of Water, no one knew Miles Quaritch was coming back as an Na'vi until you sat down to watch the movie. Like, that was revealed to me sitting there watching it for the first time. And with this one, I didn't have a clue what they were going to do with stuff. I knew, blue people fighting bad guys, ash people, like that's what I knew. What's going on, Aaron? Good to see you, homie. Mark's like, whose head is it exactly? But man, they did so good, kind of just like holding stuff back. When he took him in the woods, dude, there was so much reacting and emoting to this film. I went to see it at 10:30 at night. Finn had his karate ceremony that night, so I wasn't able to go right after work. So did the karate ceremony, and then I did the first IMAX 3D screening they had available, which was the last one of the night, starting at 10:30. Got us out of there after 2 a.m. So you can imagine a Thursday night on a work night, a movie that's going well into the next day, not going to be a huge crowd. There were still a lot of people there, and they were all reacting in the tense moments. You could hear them. People kill him. People really wanted this woman dead early on. I think even toward the end. But that moment with Spider, you hear people saying, no, 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 no. It was super intense when he turned around and oh my gosh. He said, just tell me you still love me though, right, Dad? I'm like, oof. Well, you made out with your sister, Luke Skywalker. Yeah, that was rough, but he put that blade out. He couldn't do it. And I like that's what got Natiri to see him for who he really is too, because she legitimately felt what it was like to lose him for the first time.
Right.
And she realized at that point that he's truly part of them. And she finally said, I see you. I'm like, yes. This is good stuff, man. What would you rate it? How many rings you giving this one?
9.5 out of 10.
That's super fair. That is super fair. It's super green. If you had to rank the Avatar films for you personally, out of just sheer enjoyment, how would you rank them?
I think I would probably do 1, 3, 2.
That's cool. Rank them in the chat if y'all have seen all three. Joe, Ronnie, rank them. For me personally, it's 2, 3, 1. I think what I like so much about the second one is what a lot of people is one of a lot of people's more complaints is just like the IMAX experience of it. You know, like back in the day before theatrical films were put in IMAX, you just had these IMAX shows that were made for it. Like you're just underwater going through seaweed, or you're just out in space. Like number 2 had a lot of that, where we're just experiencing the world like from their POV, and that really kind of made me connect a lot more with the world, with the creatures, with the individual characters. And that commitment they made at the end of the second one, and it sounds bad, but the fact that they killed Mateum really took this story, the story of Avatar to a place that it wasn't at before, where it felt like this is more serious than we thought it was. And
See, for me, I think it was why I did 1, 3, 2 was because I go by the way it made me feel. And the first one was just so it's like anything else you had ever seen before.
Yeah,
on screen. That feeling once you have it, you can't have it again. Necessarily. So that's why I think 1 kind of stands as the first one for me. So
I'll be honest with you, I had that feeling in number 2. That same feeling. This one didn't give me this feeling. I'm like, okay, we're back to where we're supposed to be, more than it felt like groundbreaking per se. 1 definitely has a lot of those moments, like the first time, like he's running in the forest at night and the seeds land on him, and the technology design in these movies, that signature James Cameron design, which if you go back to The Abyss to now, you can tell that he's the one designing these vehicles. He's the one designing these ships. He's the one designing these submersibles, these aerial vehicles, because they all look like they're in a shared universe, from Alien to Abyss to this. It's really cool. Ronnie's got 3-1-2. Joe's got 3-2-1. John Medici's got 1-3-2.
He knows what's going on. 1, 3, 2.
Kyle's yelling at me. Let me see what she wants real quick.
Okay.
I'll let you tell somebody something.
Hey, something. So of the movies that are coming up, okay, if you did have trailers before your Avatar, what are you looking most forward to? Are the ones that you saw ahead of time? I said, I mean, we had the one I saw. There was at least a good 2.5 minutes, probably, of the Odyssey. It had the entire, well, I won't say entire, obviously, probably not the entire, but it showed the horse in the water, everyone inside. It showed how they got into the city. It showed them set up the horse. It showed them get out of the horse. It showed them start to take over the city. So, and open the doors. So, Doomsday, that's a good one. Yeah, definitely. So, so I probably was more excited by the Odyssey than I was by Doomsday, because we talked about the trailer and how it really wasn't even necessarily really a trailer, other than just hey, guess who's coming back? In case you haven't heard, yeah, Mando and Grogu, that was a good one. Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to this one. I'm not excited, I don't want to say, but I'm looking forward to it. If they wouldn't have made and released season 3 of The Mandalorian, or made and released the Book of Boba Fett, I would be big excited for this one. But because they did those 2 things and absolutely destroyed the story and the momentum that it had going, I don't know. Again, a little apathetic. The Star Wars franchise, the MCU for this, very apathetic to it.
When is the Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie supposed to come out? Next year or the year after?
Well, based on their track record, never, right? They announce them, then they just don't do them.
Well, they've already filmed there. I think they're almost done filming it, I think.
Oh, there you go. I don't know. I love Ryan Gosling. That's a good actor. Drive. Blade Runner. Blade Runner 2049 does not get enough discussion and talk about. Let's switch over to the series. Well, you got anything else you want to seven? All right. You got anything else you want to touch on with Avatar: Fire and Ash?
No, other than to your point, I hope it doesn't take another like 5 years to make the next one.
Oh man, I was about to say realistically, I think 5 years would be a proper gap for it. But honestly, it's 1,462 days till the official release date to it.
Really?
Who's
Just
counting?
3 years?
I think so. Who's counting though? You know what I mean? It's a little bit arbitrary.
I thought they were originally trying to do like a Star Wars and then an Avatar and then a Star Wars and then an Avatar, like at Christmas
I
time.
don't know. I don't like that method. That's too fast. I'm not something as vast as like it worked for Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
That's one story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I don't know. Lord of the Rings is an anomaly, just like the Infinity Saga, the MCU. It's an anomaly. The Lord of the Rings, they released every Christmas for 3 years. They filmed it all at once. James Cameron did say that 5 is done being filmed. Similar to this one, people forget, but this was filmed at the same time as The Way of Water. Like, heavily reported on. We talked about that. Like the amount, because he's being smart with the way he's working budget and people's schedules and stuff. He's filming multiple of these at a time with a lot of overlap and stuff. So 5 is almost done being filmed because most of the time it takes for these is clearly in post-production. A big shout out to Wetaworks Studios, the absolute best of the best. Because you forget what you're looking at isn't real. Like you don't know what is or isn't real. Like how much of this is set, how much of this isn't. Is this real water? Because I know they
did all the Hobbit stuff too. The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings stuff too.
Yeah, they did Peter Jackson's King Kong, which if you go back and watch that, I think the only thing that looks visually sharper and better than Peter Jackson's King Kong is Avatar. I don't think even to this day, like go back and look at it because some of it is stylized, but when you're on Skull Island, when you're looking at Kong and all, yeah, it's the most realistic looking giant ape I've ever seen. But it's absolutely incredible, that studio. I think they're out of New Zealand.
Yeah, which is appropriate because that's where Peter Jackson is from too, I believe.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, James Cameron's Canadian. Peter Jackson's from New Zealand. James Cameron spent 47 years of his life living in California, but he calls himself Canadian. Okay. Yeah, if you say so, James. That's like 4/5 of your life in America. I don't care where he's from. Man, one of the best directors that has ever lived. Almost feels like you get to itch to enjoy it, but the burnout from so much before it brings the hype down. Yeah, dude. Something as big as this, it needs to be spaced out. You need to, because it's such a vast world and story and characters and everything. Like you can literally talk about it and fan about it for as long as you want to. Like we didn't even scratch the surface, like we talked about a lot, but there's so much detail and nuance to this film. It's insane. Let's switch gears though, because it isn't the only big release that came out this week. We got the trailer for Steven Spielberg's new film. Did we talk about that last week? The trailer?
We did not.
Age of Discovery, the official trailer for Steven Spielberg's new question mark film about aliens, maybe? Released. Did you watch the trailer?
I had not seen the trailer.
Wow.
I had forgotten it came out.
I'm surprised. I don't think it got spammed in all the chats, which is crazy. It kind of leaves me wondering what it's actually about. Because it doesn't look like, it's not Independence Day. It's not just some alien invasion movie. What it appears to be is like the plot focuses around a guy trying to whistleblow and the dangers, hurdles, the chases, the running for your life that's associated with that, and question mark government stuff. You get a couple glimpses of like people strapped down to chairs, like with their eyes open, looking at flashy screens and stuff. It makes me wonder if there'll be a twist or a catch to it. He's done War of the Worlds. So is this like, like Operation Bluebeam? Is this the government controlling what comes out so that they can have a narrative to it? Are aliens real, or is it, you know what I mean? That's the vibe I got because I'm very conspiracy minded. So a lot of stuff I'm not saying that jokingly, like a lot of the stuff that I see in there, I'm like, ooh, he can take this all these different ways, which would be new to a general audience, but very like there's like 15 videos on all of these topics
Right.
individually on the Y-Files alone. These are very popular topics in the UFO community. It looks like I see elements of all these different topics in there, which I think is very exciting because I don't know what he's going to do with it. All right. Or is the world going to know aliens are real? No, clearly not. It's called Disclosure Day. So it's about the day of releasing that information.
Yep.
I was already into the premise. Yeah, Spielberg. Yeah, it's been a while since he's done. What's he done since Ready Player One?
Was the last movie that he did the one that it was basically his life story? Was that the last one?
I don't know. Was he in it?
No. But I thought it
How
was like
boring would
it
that
was
be?
like
Just
semi-biographical or whatever, I thought.
watching him playing with
Or
animatronic
autobiography.
dinosaurs and racing to Germany to film before wintertime hits.
It was basically
showing
like
his
his
work.
early life and how he got into films. I thought I didn't see it, but I
Well,
thought that was
he can spend 20 minutes with Barbara Walters and figure all that out. We don't need a whole movie, Steven. Give us Disclosure Day sooner. But yeah, I'm excited for it. That's kind of
and
up
then
my
probably
alley.
before that it was maybe West Side Story. Did he do West Side Story?
That was pretty decent. I like The Heights a lot more. The original West Side Story is fantastic.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to say it didn't need to be remade. It's always fun to remake stuff, catch the new audience. But the original West Side Story is pretty much timeless classic.
Mhm.
Like, it stands the test of time. But In the Heights came out, I think, around the same time. I think it kind of took the steam out of West Side Story a little bit because that was Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's kind of built
Right.
for the job. It's
Right.
kind of his thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, shout out to Lin-Manuel Miranda. And if you haven't seen Hamilton, I encourage any and everybody with Disney Plus to go watch it. It is
Don't
10 out of 10.
don't miss your shot.
Yeah. Never been satisfied, Paul.
Yeah.
Start quoting Hamilton and lose the last few people we got here. Welcome to Derry, episode 8, series season 1 finale. Went from series finale to season 1 finale. This ended with a title card that read It. Welcome to Derry, chapter 1. And I couldn't be more excited when I saw that. This was one of the best season finales I've seen all year long. That's like easy to say that confidently. It's one of the best TV shows of the year. Easy, confidently can say that. HBO once again does not miss. What were your thoughts on this horrific, like fast-paced, action-packed, creepy, wicked finale?
I thought that's not just television.
It's HBO.
They
They should sponsor us.
Incredible. Yeah, they really should.
As much like glazing we do for HBO. Granted, like it isn't glazing. We're just being honest. Like we're giving them their flowers. As much pro HBO Warner Brothers talk that I do over here, they should definitely be sponsoring us. HBO Warner Brothers, if you get this, Netflix, if you're seeing this, reach out.
Yeah, exactly. They might be the same in a couple months.
Yeah, I think that like the word on the street is that Warner Brothers is going to turn down the Paramount offer because of the longevity options of the Netflix offer.
They already did. They already recommended to their shareholders that they turn it down.
Yeah, they recommended to them. Yeah.
And Jared Kushner and his group, which was ponying up 200 million of the 1.8 billion or whatever, he's dropped out.
So yeah, it's a done deal. Let's go into Netflix.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like David Zaslav was already with the two Netflix owners because there's co-CEOs of Netflix. They're already walking around the Warner Brothers lot the other day. He was showing them around and everything. Right. David Zaslav, man, that guy got the job done. Mm-hmm. Took over, turned it around, dropped Warner Brothers' best year in a long, long time, and then got like, what's the official number? Was this the 80-something billion, 84, 86, 87, $86 billion?
Yeah, 82, I think it was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to David Zaslav. That guy knows how to do his job right there.
And they're gonna come up with a $4 billion movie take this year. Disney will overtake them. They actually already have because of this weekend with Avatar. They're probably gonna end up somewhere around $6 billion for the year.
Yeah, because on paper, when it all comes in, the 20th Century Fox stuff goes into the Disney.
Right.
What's it called? Disney Incorporated. Disney something on the stock market. It's Disney something. Yeah, if you separate the companies out, yeah, that's going to be different next year because Netflix, man, they're again, like that company is like like 2x the size of Disney on paper.
Mhm.
So like, man, but yeah, I still think scaled to size, I think Warner Brothers takes the W this year.
Mhm.
Like, man,
Yeah.
back
But
to Welcome to Derry.
it was incredible the way he, we talked about like how the last Mission Impossible movie kind of weaved in all the different,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
all the different things. Same thing with this episode. It weaved in basically everything. Not only it, but it weaved in The Shining. It weaved in the Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank,
It
yeah.
weaved in, it weaved in basically almost everything that Stephen King has done for a long period of time.
Yeah, there's
And
rumors of them going back to bring Castle Rock back now.
yeah, yeah,
Stephen King universe is, I don't think, ever been more popular. Like Godzilla franchise is
right,
up there. Transformers is up there now.
right,
Now the Stephen King universe is getting a 15th wind.
right.
It's never been a failure. It's always been
And
good.
set
But
up the perfect reason why you would need another season or 2 seasons.
going
Exactly.
back in
Going
time.
back in time, right?
Yeah, what'd you think of that scene when he was sitting there terrorizing that little girl?
Yeah. Who is the mother of Richie Tozer, who you
We
called last week?
Yeah, we talked about that. I said, oh, since Richie's one of the main characters in the movie, I wonder if that's his mom, and she named the kid after him.
Mhm.
Turned out to be the case. Mike from Stranger Things character. You even see his little face on the pin. Like, I know that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, he's going to host the first Saturday Night Live in 2026.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah,
Um,
then Pennywise tells her, oh, where are we at? Is this my death? Or just my
yeah,
birth?
yeah.
It's all the same.
Yesterday, tomorrow, it's all the same to me.
Yeah, revealing that this interdimensional cosmic entity experiences time in a non-linear way, and death is not the end for it either. And they, after everything's said and done, and they get the little totem back in play to put the prison up around Derry, and it sends him packing and back into a slumber. The kids kind of regrouping at the end talk about, like, what if he goes back in time and kills our parents before we're born and everything. So kind of sets up why we're going back to the 1930s in the next one, which I'm excited. Like, I like the way that they're doing these. It no longer has to be called a prequel, being that we're not traversing time linearly, and it's still moving forward. I'm like, that's genius.
Yeah, and in case you didn't get it from just what Pennywise was saying, she basically comes out and says, what if he's going back to try to kill our parents so that we don't,
That we never exist.
right?
Dick Halloran had a little 1v1 with Pennywise to try to buy some time. We had this really cool scene where the kids were trying to get the totem back into the ground, and they're having to push against all the force of it to get it there. It was resisting. And Dick Halloran looks up and he sees Pennywise skipping across the ice, passing the kids, and says, "So long, losers," which is a great nod to the actual film, to the nickname of the gang itself. And about this time, Dick Halloran looks back because he's seeing all the ghosts and everything uncontrollably, and he sees little Richie. As as X was calling him, our 3-foot king. He comes run. The ghost of Richie goes running to catch up with him, runs past Pennywise, gives him the finger, and then pushes his friends, give him the last boost. And they said that they could, like, did y'all feel a presence or something pushing us at the end? It was, yes, dude. It was such an amazing scene, dude. I know. I was cheering when that kid went running by. I was screaming, "Flick him off, flick him off, flick him off." And when he did, my arms went up. I'm like, yes. It was amazing. The military was so stupid in the series thinking they could control Pennywise. I don't think they wanted to control him. They just wanted to set him loose. Because that's even what James Remar said to him. Was like, there's a door. You're free. Get out there. Go.
Right.
And Pennywise went. He's walking by me. Goes, wait. I never forget a smell. I know you. And then he just eats his face off.
So his younger self will probably be in the next season. So
I have ghost pumps when Rich came back.
So
yeah.
we're going to see probably the general, and we're going to see the lady from who owns the antique store as youngsters in the next season.
Yeah. Rose. Wasn't that her name? Rose? Yeah, I think it's Rose. Yeah. But yeah, great show. 9 out of 10 for the whole series. 9.5 maybe, dude. It was good. It kind of slows down for a couple of episodes in the middle, but what those episodes do, they serve to kind of just give us more characterization, and it makes you care a lot more for these characters for like the last 3 kind of thing. We had an after credit scene as well that jumps to the 1980s. It takes us to Juniper Asylum at the time of the first movie, where Pennywise or Bob, the real Pennywise's daughter, is old now, Miss Kirch, who we see in It Chapter 2 of the movie. She hears some commotion. She walks out of her room and she goes and looks, and we see the Jessica Chastain character, the red-haired girl from the movie, in the room with her dad, and where her mom hung herself in that room. So it finally revealed exactly what happened to her mom. She was crazy. She was in Juniper Asylum, and she took her own life. And that explained also, deep cut here, why in It Chapter 2, when Jessica Chastain was investigating things and went to that apartment, she sat down across from Mrs. Kirsch and couldn't put her finger on it because she had seen her before for that brief moment when she was a kid in the asylum, which just adds so much more just to the writing of this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing when you have the same, Andy and Barbara Muschietti, whatever, doing both the movies and the series. So
yeah, incredible. And Skarsgård was on the fence about doing the show because he doesn't want to step down to television. We talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago or within the last month, how it's kind of like a tier system for actors. You're a silver screen actor or you're a television actor. And if you're a television actor, maybe you're on ABC or maybe you're on paid programming like HBO. There are literal tiers to it. It's kind of like, the soccer leagues. There's divisions to it. Like, he felt nervous about stepping down for television, but ultimately, dude, it just worked out.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, to your point before about HBO, pretty much stuff on HBO they're pretty much prestige projects.
Yeah, like if you're like you should feel lucky to get, like, if you're a comic, like that's the gold standard to get an HBO special. Everyone gets Netflix specials, but if you get an HBO special, like you made it. At least that was the thing for a long time until the internet came and changed the entire comic genre. And I want to address this comment from earlier, since Stephen with the sleeves is still in the chat. He says, everyone is saying Alan Ritchson is Captain Adam. I wouldn't hate it. All right, dude. I was trying not to, we're talking some DCU now, and this is a great segue. I didn't get a picture for it. Paul, how many Captain Adam fans do you know out there?
Including you and me?
Yeah, including you and me. I think you and me, right?
Two.
Yeah, two. Now, plenty of people know him, don't mind him, this or that. It was announced exclusively through this article on this webpage that Captain Adam is being added to the cast of Creature Commando Season 2. Mm-hmm. And instantly, just like with the main man Lobo, all of a sudden, he's everybody's favorite character in these comment sections. I'm like, oh my God. All these people praising this. This is crazy. Captain Adam does not belong in that show. Captain Adam is not a monster. The only way that they could possibly twist this is if Rick Flag is not leading the team for reasons, and they need somebody who's military mindset, who follows orders given to lead that team. So no, that's all I can say. So I'm not too excited about it. Captain Adam should have been in Peacemaker Season 2. Mm-hmm. It's a Charlton character. He belongs in Peacemaker. But if Alan Ritchson is Captain Adam, that is amazing. This is an animated show, and I'm telling you, it's going to become an issue. This whole promise that this is people remembering life weird. This internet amnesia right here. This whole promise that James Gunn promised whoever voices a cartoon character will play them in live action. That was never a promise. He said that's the goal if it can be done, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's if it can be done. But Alan Ritchson, real life Captain Adam,
he would.
That's flawless casting, bro. Mm-hmm. Flawless. Just paint him silver, put some underoos on him, smooth out the bulge a little bit. We're done.
If he can control matter, it's like I would like. Why would I want a smooth bulge? Like, hey man, you know what? I'll make my own.
Exactly. Yeah, just you two. Yeah, that was one of my, was that this year or last year where I finally got his first appearance? I think it was last year where I finally came across, I don't even want to say affordable, but a non-4-figure copy of his first appearance in Space Adventures. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dane Cook specials were made. Yeah, Dane Cook releases straight to YouTube now, too. I still follow Dane Cook. I still love Dane Cook. But YouTube absolutely changed the stand-up comedian format to everything. But,
Did you watch the Alex Edelman special?
Not yet. That's the one on HBO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet. It's hard for me to watch HBO at night, and with anything like that, I have to watch at night because when I go to sleep, whatever, I have to have noise playing when I go to sleep. But if it plays all night long, I will not wake up to my alarm because I've been listening to noise, so the alarm won't wake me up. So stuff like Netflix, HBO, they do this autoplay thing, and there's no turn off feature. So it'll just play stuff forever. Forever. Yeah, Ronnie. Now I know 2 Captain Atom fans. Yeah, that's me. That was the most excited part I had about the Justice League Unlimited when it was first announced. They had Captain Atom all over the marketing. About the 1-in-50 ratio for it, just to get the cool painted Captain Atom cover. The Atom Project was really, it was good. It's hard to say out loud. Maybe it was co-written. I don't know. He Who Will Not Be Named wrote it. His name was John Ridley. Absolutely despise him as a writer. Qualified writer, disrespectful writer at the same time. But the Atom Project was fantastic. The best Captain Atom anything you can read in the last handful of years is definitely Jenny Sparks. 7-issue masterpiece of Captain Atom going full Captain Atom mode. Like it's
God mode.
Nuts. And watching him body Superman effortlessly in Superman versus Captain Atom was amazing. Lost to a technicality in the rule book. Oh my God, just like Panda, it drove me nuts. He needed the TV playing for when he would go to sleep. Yeah, dude, my brain is too hyperactive. If I sit down in a room to lay down with nothing, no noise, my brain will not let me go to sleep. It will not stop. I'll be sitting here.
I have to have music usually, but
I'll be sitting here like debating like the theory of existence in my brain for 3 hours straight before I even realize 5 minutes passes by. Like it just doesn't turn off. I just use a fan. That doesn't do it for me.
Who are they?
Yeah, which fan? Yeah. Do you have tryouts?
Yeah, exactly.
39 months strong.
Nice.
Dale with suspense. What is going on, brother? Happy Sunday. Hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and holiday season. Dale, like Sector said, will be on the first episode of Guess That Key 2026, an all wrench episode with Brother John's Comics. All right, last thing we want to talk about. Creature Commando season 2, whatever. I'll watch it. I enjoyed the first season. I wasn't blown away by it. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was good. I'm not the biggest sell on these cartoon connections to the universe thing. I think that's a lazy route. Reestablish a DCAU. We should have an ongoing DC animated universe like we did before, completely not connected to the movies, just as a fun extra thing to have where people can experience stories brought to life in comic form. They're cheaper to make. You can do whatever you want. You don't have all these restrictions. You see all kinds of new characters. That would be the most beneficial thing from a marketing standpoint. You market them to your comic fans that kept them going for so long, and it just brings in new people. And yeah, dude, like it makes no sense the way that the MCU and now the DCU is doing this animated stuff. We're supposed to be getting Nightfall soon. Jeremy Adams is writing the script for multiple
chapters of it. So because it is pretty long. So
yeah, dude, the whole Nightfall. The Nightfall saga is long as hell,
right?
Because you have conquest and everything to go with it. Like I think the first collected volume is like that, and the second one's like half the size. But dude, it's massive. All right, the last big thing: DCU news, major drop.
Yes, I love how he goes from one day saying, "I never said that Brainiac was in the movie." I never
said Brainiac's in the
movie.
movie.
Next day was like, "Oh, I guess I said Brainiac."
Here's who's playing him, by the way.
Yeah. And if you've never seen him before, you're not alone.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's some random German actor. I don't know. His name is Lars Eidinger. Have no clue who he is. I looked up his filmography, didn't recognize a single thing on there. I'm like, great, another opportunity for James Gunn to get weird, quirky, and nichey with a character. Dude, I'm already losing hope for this Man of Tomorrow thing. James Gunn referenced some Brainiac's great. I loved him when this person wrote him or that person wrote him. And he's kind of mentioning like the zany age of comics. But what he didn't mention was Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, which brought us the definitive Brainiac for the modern age. The Brainiac everyone thinks of when you think of him, like that's inspired every Brainiac that came after, is Jeff Johns Gary Frank's Brainiac. We saw it even brought to life in the Krypton series. So I don't know if he has. It makes me think like maybe this guy doesn't like Jeff Johns.
And I thought I read somewhere, and it could just be. I mean, people just write stuff trying to get people to read it. So, but
No
that
figure.
that that he was kind of basing him more on the absolute Superman Brainiac.
I did not read that, but God, I hope we do not do that for a movie. That would be crazy. That's what he looks like. His little Brainiac. There you go. Shout out to AI Skynet if you're watching. Good job. That guy is this guy. We'll see. We'll see. I'm. You know, we already see the setup for it. You know, clearly we saw it in the trailer for Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. The Krypton crumbling and the city being bottled. It was either Argo City getting contained and saved, or it was Brainiac claiming his prize. One of the two. I don't know. Wow, Paul dropping knowledge. So he does. Action 242 going to hit the top 10 list, probably. Did you see the trailer for Dracula with Christoph Waltz? So I've been watching and following Dracula, A Love Tale for over 6 months now. That movie released in July overseas, and it's a Luc Besson film. And I've been watching and talking with Pops about it for 6 months now. Reached out, even talked to a couple people about it. Had to figure out why it hasn't released over here, and have been waiting for a long period of time. I started to watch the American trailer for it, and I turned it off because the American trailer is edited and cut in a way that is disingenuous to the very artistic project that is that movie. And it looks like it. You need to go watch the foreign trailers for it if you want to see what it's really tonally going to be like. I can't wait to see it. I'll be seeing that in theaters. This guy who's playing Dracula, like he's like this mesmerizing looking dude. And his armor for when he's Vlad, it looks incredible. The movie looks insanely good. I'm a big Luc Besson fan as well. The Professional, Colombiana, Fifth Element, Valerian. I like Luc Besson stuff, so I'm not going to miss it. I think I have like all of his movies except for that diving movie that he did back in like the early 80s, where they're like the free divers. It was a very early movie of his about free divers, but I'm pretty much over James Gunn. He was great putting together a new version of Guardians, but can't cut it with established characters, in my opinion. I don't think you're wrong. We'll see. You know what I mean? Like, I think he did good with the Suicide Squad. I've said this 1,000 times. I love his Suicide Squad movie. I prefer the first one 10 out of 10 times. Like even Kyle, like on this very stream, my wife randomly walked in here and made a Suicide Squad 1 reference unprompted. Like that's how this house goes. But yeah, definitely watch the foreign trailer, guys. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. I think it's going to pair perfectly with Edgar's Nosferatu. It's proper Bram Stoker's Dracula remake. It's called Dracula: A Love Tale, and it leans heavily into that aspect of it. The original Suicide Squad movie trailer is amazing. The whole movie is amazing. Talking about the one before they added the neon lights. The original trailer, they pulled it because it came out for a brief time. David Ayers is a very gritty director, like from End of Watch to Fury, Bright. He's a very gritty director, and you can see his original cut trailer. You probably find it now with how the internet is. And then they went back and neon lighted his original cut trailer and stuff. But yeah, Waltz is a different level actor. I'll watch anything with him at Facts. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Vampirism. Yeah, hype through the roof. Yeah, there's going to be some good stuff next year. I'm looking forward to it. Fury is amazing. Shia LaBeouf's best performance ever. Here I Am, Send Me.
Oh, speaking of, did you hear the rumor about that?
Tell me more.
Supposedly, Shia LaBeouf will be back in the next Transformers movie.
Why, yes, I did. He made his con appearance, went on stage. Michael, dude, you're in the chat. It was months ago. I said, hey, bitches, Michael Bay is back. Oh. Yeah, Michael Bay is coming back for the next Transformers project. When to be fair, he's like been producer on most of them still, anyways. But Shia, Peanut Butter Falcon's really good. I just prefer him playing Bible and Fury. Like him and John Bernthal's dynamic in Fury. Come on, that's some of the best acting I think I've ever seen. Like Fury is so good, man. But yeah, Transformers is coming back proper. and I hope to God we do what's the name? Omicron.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hope to God we do that. I hope that's coming. I hope they pick up from like right because like what we've done since Bumblebee is they've kind of just retconned a prequel to it. We did Bumblebee, we did Rise of the Beast in the 90s, so you can easily just do the next one like just a new momentum and bring in familiar characters. You'll have a choppy lore to it, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Shia LaBeouf is I've been waiting for his generational run. He's due for his big comeback. He really messed up in life, and he's one of the few people that I've seen like leave to go seek help and get it and come back and take full responsibility and ownership over his past transgressions. And he doesn't ask anybody to forgive him. He's just showing you through action that he's a different person. And if you want to support him and follow him, this is where he's at, kind of thing. I encourage any and everybody to watch his interview he did on John Bernthal's podcast called Real Ones. And I challenge you to see if you can make it to the end without crying. Like, it's a very powerful conversation they have. That's about all they have left to do, right? Yeah, right? Because we found out that Earth, that was the big reveal that Earth was actually Omicron. Yeah, Quintessa's big enemy. I don't know. I have no clue which way they'll go with it. All I know is the next outing for the Transformers will be the crossover with the G.I. Joe characters, which that should have been done a long time ago. And I've talked about it throughout the years of those films coming out. What's his name? Josh Dermal, who was in all of them as the military guy.
Mhm.
Like it would have been nothing just to say, like, just to give those guys names like Tyrese and Josh. If his name would have been Roadblock, if his name would have been Duke, it'd have been that simple. And you have G.I. Joe in there because they're always actively working with the special division made to work with the Transformers, with the special tech that everybody else doesn't get, and the tactics and the training and all that. Unicron, thank you, Joe. He has grown up. He really has, yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for a lot of stuff coming. Can't wait. But it's after 10. I'm about to make like a baby and head out, take some medicine, and go to bed. I ain't feeling it. My body's aching right now. Worked hard today. Allergies killing me. Paul, you got anything else you want to touch on?
Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope everyone has a great holiday. Don't forget, we will see you. I don't know if you want to take 5 minutes just to go over the drawing for next week.
Good reminder. Yeah, next week, right here, we'll be drawing for the winner. So I can't thank everybody enough who supports the channel by coming in, hanging out, and talking, subscribing. But it's a special thank you to the people that are in the Legion tier because they contribute financially to the channel, which I don't keep. I just put it right back into the channel and fun things and ways because I appreciate people. So if you're going to do that, it's going to turn around and come right back out in a fashion. But these are the exclusives that Big Time Collectibles sent. We got a couple of Marvel ones just to balance it out. Some Miko Fantastic Four. Miko's phenomenal. Some foil goodness to make Paul happy. Some more Miko goodness. Yeah. And then the new history of the DC universe, the entire 4-issue series. So you can get caught up and stay caught up on what the heck's happening since 1938 to now. And then because we're celebrating the greatest story ever told this time of year, we decided to do a greatest comic story ever told themed giveaway, which means Kingdom Come. So I've got the DC Compact Edition, so you can have just an easy one to read wherever you're at. We have the Absolute Hardback Edition, so you can have an incredibly difficult one to read, but read it in the most prestigious format available. Oversized, massive. I mean, look at that. That's crazy. That is crazy. The Kickstarter exclusive Legends of Kingdom Come Blu-ray. This is a documentary on the making of Kingdom Come and its cultural impact that has stood the test of time. This was a Kickstarter exclusive, and this was the more expensive version called the Emerald Edition, kind of homaging Alan Scott Green Lantern. But I got another copy still with the lanyard, all the cards and stuff on the inside. Yeah, oh, cool. Give me 1 minute. And then have the San Diego Comic-Con McFarlane figure that recreates the issue number 4 cover art. It has the exclusive stand, and that background comes out and it sets up so you can recreate the cover of issue number 4, which is actually right here in a 9.8 that you can display with it. So all of that is one massive giveaway going to one lucky winner. And we'll draw for that winner next Sunday. Show starts at 8:30 right here. And it is a very special show because it's the last show of the year.
Mhm.
The show only comes out once a year. It's called At Year's End. We'll just be hanging out, chit-chatting, talking about the best of, worst of. Looser format show, just kind of chit-chat. So everyone who's watching, make sure you think about it. What was your favorite reads of the year, favorite watches, movies, TV shows? What was the worst of the year? Talking about you, Daredevil. It was terrible. Ironheart, I think, is the worst of the year from the MCU. God. Rough. But yeah, it'll be a fun show. Fun show, and the winner will be drawn there. Thanks for the reminder, Paul. Merry Christmas, brother. Good night. You as well. Daredevil wasn't terrible, was it? It was terrible. Like everyone's gonna have it was that. Let me ask you this. Anyone watching, why did Frank walk into the warehouse at the end completely unarmed into the people's captivity? Keep that in mind. Frank left his armory where he said, I don't want to go fight. I'm done playing with y'all. He left his armory to walk unarmed into a warehouse full of the bad guys and fist fight these dudes with guns. Frank, that's what he did. That's what he did because they like, oh, we need Frank to get captured. Didn't make sense. Nothing about that show made sense. It was awful. Hey, you remember when Frank and Daredevil jumped out of the window of the apartment building when they were getting attacked at the end? It's a corner building. They landed across the street on a car, across the entire.
I brought that up.
Yeah, dude. Dude, it was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's like a Daredevil show. What should we leave out of it? I don't know. Daredevil? Let's do that.
I'll be back.
Where are you going? What?
Bing.
Oh, you must not work in the morning.
No,
Okay.
Finn's awake.
Tell him to go to bed. Finn left his little bink. Oh, he's wide awake.
That's fun.
Yeah. We'll get into all that and more next Sunday right here. So bring your compliments, bring your complaints, and everyone have a good night. Until then, I'll leave you with a clip of one of the greatest movies ever made, the greatest animated feature film of all time. Good night.
You are who you choose to be.